The Gospel reading is taken from St. Luke's Gospel, chapter 24, verses 13 to 35. On that same day, the day of the resurrection, two of Jesus' followers were going to a village named Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem. And they were talking to each other about all the things that had happened. As they talked and discussed, Jesus himself drew near and walked along with them. They saw him, but somehow didn't recognize him. Jesus said to them, "What are you talking about to each other as you walk along?" They stood still with sad faces. One of them, Cleopas, asked him, "Are you the only visitor in Jerusalem who doesn't know the things that have been happening there these last few days?" "What things?" he asked. "The things that happened to Jesus of Nazareth," they answered. "This man was a prophet and was considered by God and by all the people to be powerful in everything he said and did. Our chief priests and rulers handed him over to be sentenced to death, and he was crucified. And we had hoped that he would be the one who was going to set Israel free. Besides all this, this is now the 3rd day since it happened. Some of the women of our group surprised us. They went at dawn to the tomb, but could not find his body. They came back saying they had seen a vision of angels who told them that he is alive. Some of our group went to the tomb and found it exactly as the women had said, but they did not see him." Then Jesus said to them, "How foolish you are, how slow you are to believe everything the prophets said. Was it not necessary for the Messiah to suffer these things and then to enter his glory?" And Jesus explained to them what was said about himself in all the scriptures, beginning with the books of Moses and the writings of all the prophets. As they came near the village to which they were going, Jesus acted as if he were going farther, but they held him back, saying, "Stay with us. The day is almost over and it's getting dark." So he went in to stay with them. He sat down to eat with them, took the bread, and said the blessing. Then he broke the bread and gave it to them. Then their eyes were opened and they recognized him, but he disappeared from their sight. They said to each other, "Wasn't it like a fire burning in us when he talked to us on the road and explained the scriptures to us?" They got up at once and went back to Jerusalem, where they found the 11 disciples gathered together with the others and saying, "The Lord is risen indeed. He has appeared to Simon." The two of them explained to them what had happened on the road and how they had recognized the Lord when he broke the bread. Hear what the Spirit is saying to the churches.
Thanks be to God.
Well, here we are back at Mother's Day again. It's I remember the first Mother's Day that I was here 4 years ago, I was suggesting that following the customs of the United Church and of some other denominations, that we might call this Christian Family Day. Well, that was a mistake. I was soon put right and told, this is Mother's Day, and this is what it will always be, and we're not going to change it. And so ever since then, I've never even dared suggest that we call it Christian Family Day. In this account of the two disciples, Cleopas and one other disciple whose name we don't know, on the day of the resurrection, as they were going home to their village 7 miles from Jerusalem, they had this encounter with the risen Christ, but they didn't know him until they were sitting down having a meal together. And it was in the breaking of bread together that they recognized who he was. The Holy Christ is encountered in unexpected ways. And this is the way, in unexpected ways, that God is revealed. Mother's Day is important for many things. We've all got mothers or had mothers. Some of us have been mothers and are mothers. But we all have a mother. And so this is for all of us, not just for the mothers amongst us. Our mothers, whether they're alive or dead, continue to have a strong influence over us. Probably there's never more than a day or two goes by, if as long as that we don't remember something about our mothers. Most important of all, our mothers when we were children. Our mothers being there and our getting up and our going to bed. Our joys and our sorrows. Our happy times and our times of hurt. In our games and our struggles. Our achievements and our failures. They were there always in our homes, as we sheltered from the wind and the rain, from the snow and ice, the cold and the blizzards, and from the heat of the sun. They were there. And in most cases, it was our mothers who prepared meals for us and fed us, encouraged us to eat, and nurtured us. I hope that this is still true. I know that in many cases nowadays children don't always have that enriching experience of family meals every day. I hope they do occasionally at least. But it seems to have been, the family meal, a custom that seems to be bypassed for TV dinners and fast food. I want to talk about food a little more later on. But food was was part of this experience in Emmaus on that first Easter day. Jesus became the guest of the hosts who provided bread. Once inside their home, the hosts, Cleopas and the other disciple, prepared a meal for the traveler. And when this stranger, as they thought, breaks the bread and blesses it, the disciples' eyes were opened and they recognized Jesus. And at this point he vanishes from their sight. But as a result of this experience, this encounter, the two disciples, tired though they must have been after a long walk journey of 7 miles, immediately turned back and walked the 7 miles back to Jerusalem to tell the good news to the 11 disciples and their companions. These two disciples became prime examples of Christian hospitality. They were the Christian hosts. They are the Christian family, whether there was a mother there or not.